Hey guys, a lot of you have no idea who I am. My name is Lex and this is my channel, Life with Lex. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you make it to the end because I really have some good tips that I have made sure I wrote down for you guys to help you either along with your tufting journey or even if you're looking into getting into tufting. I feel like these tips were really something I learned along the way. I've been tufting for 10 months now, almost going on 11 months, so I feel like I've learned a lot throughout the process, so maybe I can save you some time and really get your game up quicker than you would think. I'm looking down a lot because I have notes, so that way I don't lose track and that way I don't take forever explaining what I need to explain. So like I said, if I'm looking down a lot, that's why. But like I said, I've been tufting for about 10 months, so I've learned these things along the way, and they are in no specific order. I think they all have their own value, so just a warning. But the first one I want to go over with is like practice. Practice was like really essential, and in the beginning, I just made rugs for friends. So honestly, this is my first rug, which I'm scared to even put on camera. But this was the first rug that I made. So you're probably like, what the HE double hockey sticks is this? This is the Travis Scott rug. I made it for my boyfriend. He's like a huge Travis Scott fan. As you can see, the yay and Travis Scott in the background. But anyways, this was what really inspired me. Sorry. This is what really inspired me to make rugs, as well as I wanted to make a rug for my daughter's playroom. So, practice really is going to be your main thing. I made probably around 8 rugs between these and a few that I made for either myself. I made them and handed them out to family and friends. So whenever I first started making rugs, there wasn't too much out there, and even if so, it wasn't very informal. I used Elmer's glue on the back of this, okay? So clearly I didn't know about the carpet adhesives at that point. I didn't know a lot of things. So I learned that as I went, but in the beginning I really wanted to be cheap because I wanted to see if this was a craft or a hobby that I enjoyed and that I liked. So practice makes perfect. It's okay to go with cheaper alternatives and cheaper routes if that's what your financial means are. So next was trimming. Trimming is a big thing because you see all these nice clean rugs and you see the machinery they use, and we often jump the gun on buying the most expensive machinery thinking it's going to give you that nice clean cut, when in all actuality you can get really good product rugs with simple $20 hair clippers from Walmart. A lot of tufters are advertising like these industrial carpet cleaners, and yes, those are going to level your carpets out evenly, but that does not guarantee you a good quality rug. Which is why practice is so big, because you learn how to make your craft, that craft yours, or at least in my opinion. This is all my opinion. But trimming is a big thing. Also, another part when you're going to trim, a lot of people don't realize what I do to help me have more crisp, clean lines is trim in between your tufting colors. So let's say I'm making a black and white scream rug. If I go in and I do all the black spots, I will trim up while it is on the frame before I go in with my next color. This is just going to help you have more intense and even lines, even if your tufting is a little uneven. If you're a tufter, you know what I mean, hopefully. So next, I would say, which is tip number 3. Sorry if I'm not numbering them well. So building up, which is kind of what I talked about in trimming, but building up to purchase more expensive or better quality tools. Like I said, tufting to start is very expensive. To be honest, you would be so surprised on how quickly the expenses can add up. You'd be surprised on how quickly the expenses can add up, as well as how quickly you have to replace and rebuy things. I couldn't tell you how many clippers I have went through. I couldn't tell you how many scissors I have messed up between God knows what. Like, it's just, and you know, scissors ain't cheap. You'd be surprised. These ain't no Dollar Tree scissors. Like, these are $15 scissors at a time. Whether I'm losing them, I'm messing them up trying to sharpen them to be able to reuse them because I don't know how to do nothing. You just would be surprised on how the expenses can add up. So what I mean by that as well is, like, when I first started out, I used my household vacuum. But now I have built up and I bought a shop vacuum, which I abuse and use the mess out of Walmart hidden clearance. I'm a couponer, so I'm really good on finding deals, especially deals that on stuff I need. So another example is the electric scissors you see in a lot of these YouTube videos. I actually ended up copying and getting like a $25 pair on Amazon, thinking, oh wow, it's going to be so great. They're crap. So I think it's some things that you'll see and be like, wow, that is such a, I want to get that. Let me do that before I start, thinking it's really going to up your game when, buddy, it's not. You know, so I think building up really helps. It helps you learn the craft more. But those were just some examples that I feel like you should take time to upgrade if you're going to start tufting. And I'm glad that I took the time to upgrade and then I learned from it as well. And I didn't just jump the gun and blow all this money on it, because I think it would have made me not want to keep doing the craft, if I'm being honest. So number 4 is join groups. There are Facebook groups, there are YouTube channels such as me. Of course, I'm not doing one-on-one videos right now. However, now that I have a new camera, a new setup, I'm excited to bring way more content than I was before. But there are Facebook groups that can really give you an answer right then and there, or you might find somebody in the group that can talk one-on-one with you. And I've actually did a consultation with a girl that was actually in my state. I did a whole hour consultation with her. You know, I just was like, hey, just give me $10 for the consultation, because you never do anything free. And even this video, hopefully one day I'll be getting some type of benefit off of it. But join groups. There's a lot of groups, tufting and rug making. They're on Facebook. Follow other tufters on YouTube. Even there are platforms, and you'd be surprised on what you see that can help, because groups have really, really helped me, I'm telling you. And Tugs Rugs, which there's a lot more rug makers out there, but that's just like the number one. When I first started out, that was my go-to guy, because I did a lot of shoe rugs, if I'm being honest. So number 5 is yarn. So yarn brands and styles can differ. Unfortunately, I didn't know this. I didn't have a grandma at home that crocheted a lot. My mom doesn't even know how to crochet. I learned how to crochet by my aunt when I was a kid. But other than that, I don't know a lot about yarn, and didn't before this craft. So when I would do designs, I would get a little bit of yarn and think it can last, and then go to look and I'm like, I'm out of yarn. Let me go back to the store. I would go to the store, grab that same brand and color, thinking it's the same, and bring it home, and I'm like, why does it look different? It would be oddly off. And that I learned that there are batches, there are batch numbers you have to look at with yarn and make sure that they match, because yarn is dyed specific colors, and honestly, when you're putting something in a mix, it can never be 100% the same. So, learn the hard way by ruining a lot of rugs, but yarn's different. So, if you're at the store and you're doing it for a commission especially, more is less. So, if you have to up your deposits, do whatever, just to make sure you have an extra amount of yarn, more is less. Now, the only color yarns that are safe with this is like white, soft white, black, and maybe some grays, but very selective ones, and that's just because it's very clear. The colors are simple and don't have to be a big concoction to be able to make that color. So number 5, like I said, there are yarn brands and types. You cannot mix and match brands when it comes to rug making, because one, they feel different, the density may be different, and like I said, the colors. Even though they might say both say turquoise, they are 2 totally different turquoises, because they dye, and they dye the batches. So if they're dyeing it in one mixture, let's say for this brand, and then they're using a different concoction for this brand, they're going to come out different. So you have to be careful, because you would be surprised on how quickly you can visually see the difference in your rug just by that little bit of offness, and it sucks, because I did it a few times. So number 6 would be using your cut pile or loop pile gun. This is the gun we use for tufting rugs. Y'all, I'm so ready to get out this neighborhood. Genuinely. Somebody's car done got towed. It's been a morning. But anyways. So personally, I double strand my yarn into my cut pile gun. So that means I use 2 strands of yarn going through my gun. A lot of people don't know that. And I've actually seen tufters in other countries. Yes, they might be using different types of yarn, but I've actually seen people triple thread theirs. Now, I feel like my gun, it's a little tight with 2, so I'm going to stick with 2. But there's nothing wrong with trying other things that you see from other tufters. So using your cut pile or loop pile gun, learn it. Try different things if you want something more thick or if you want it more dense, or, you know, just don't adjust your gun unless you know what you're doing. I have ruined a whole tufting gun, and y'all know these ain't the cheapest things. I have ruined a whole tufting gun because I wanted to make adjustments. I wanted it to be longer here and da-da-da. Don't. So, I think that it's just smart to really learn your cut pile or loop pile gun, because if you don't know the machinery you're working with that well, it's going to be really hard to learn how to use it. So, like I said, just kind of playing around with it, really getting the hand and feel of it. That's why I say those first few rugs you make, hand them out to friends. They don't have to be crazy designs. They can be hearts. They could be smiley faces, or the little, I don't know, the little sunflower thing, the macrame. What? I sound so terrible. So I don't know what it is, but people make those rugs all the time, and they're very simple and good to start off with. So next tip, number 7. Wait, right? Yeah, 6 was using your gun. 7, expect to make mistakes. The best thing about tufting isn't making the rugs, it's messing up your rugs and fixing it. I have blew holes. I'm talking about holes in my monk's cloth and my burlap, whatever. And this is a commissioned rug. And I'm tight on funds. I'm like, I spent all my money to re-up in supplies, and now I'm blowing through the crap. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I would be so overwhelmed because I have messed up a part and it bothers me. But when you can fix it and you can't even tell, boy, that'd be the best feeling ever. And I feel like people get like really devastated when they're going through their tufting journey, because they will put holes in their fabric, or they'll be like, I don't know how to do this and that. But you learn. That's like part of the learning curve. And I really want people to understand, like, that's tufting, you know? Like, it's with any business. Even if you make a mistake, it's learning how to fix it. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you're trying to tuft and it's not really working out. You keep blowing holes through it. Dude, I blew holes probably the first 6 months at least in almost every other rug I did. Now, the holes wouldn't be as big as I got better. However, I still was doing it. So I just want to say, like, don't get discouraged if you blow holes through your fabric, because it happens to the best. Number 8's tip is humbly starting. I know these might sound repetitive, but I feel like they're so important, because when you look at people making rugs, it's like you see all this machinery and everything, and it's like, oh my gosh. And I'm a part of groups, so I feel like personally people jump the gun, no pun intended. People jump the gun and buy the most expensive things and thinking it's gonna get them that good quality, and it's not. And it's crazy, but it's not. I mean, I've seen guys make the cleanest rugs that go for $500 to $1,000, and he uses Walmart clippers, y'all. Like, dude's a G. So I mean, it's there. It's really just having the time, the patience, and learning your skill. Craftsmen, they learn to craft. So really, I feel like if you start more humbly, it pays off, and it helps you gain more confidence with your skill, versus trying to think just because you have the most expensive equipment, you're going to get top tier results. Because, boy. Number 9 would be pace yourself and consistency. I know that's hard coming from me, because I'm probably the most inconsistent YouTuber known to man. But pace yourself and be consistent with it. Rug making is a process. It's a process, and it's actually becoming more and more trendy and common now, which is cool. I'm not hating by no means. Being consistent and going my own pace. I think people all have different paces, and I am more of a one that I will pace myself because I get overwhelmed very easy. My mind races 60,000 miles a minute, so I know there's a lot of people out there like me. And shouts out to y'all, but you know, we have this problem where it's really hard and you might overwhelm yourself. And I've had a few moments where I'm thinking I'm wasting too much of my time with rug making, and but when I'm making them, I enjoy it. Like, I love the reaction of people. I love how I can just, it's a different feeling for me. And I feel like everyone who has their own business or starting their own business has that same drive and that same, at least you know what I mean, you know? So, like I said, pace yourself, be consistent, because honestly, even if you're not doing that great, if you're being consistent, it'll show. So that's what I'm hoping for, at least. But yeah, that was my number 9. And also, when I was talking about pacing yourself, I think it's important for you not to get burnt out. And that's burnt out on rugs, that could be burnt out on being online, trying to keep up with TikTok videos. Like, I'm just now getting on TikTok, and that's just because, like, it's kind of overwhelming trying to remember to post, to record, and then trying to think of ideas, and then trying to think of an algorithm. Like, it's just kind of, so it's just, the internet and social media is just a lot for me to take in. And that's what I said, I get overwhelmed easy. So I knew not to try to do everything all at once. I feel like I learned how to make rugs confidently first, and then now here I am on my platform showing people, hey, I make rugs and I could do a commission rug for you, or a logo rug, whatever, it doesn't matter, which they're the same. But yeah, so pace yourself. And 10 is like the most important tip to me, honestly, because it helps with number 9, is remember why you started. Remember why you started making rugs, or remember why you started doing anything. Because when you're dealing with people, it can be frustrating, okay? Anybody knows owning a business, or even just having something where you have to interact with other humans, can be tricky. So remembering why I started and what I do it for every day is like a big motivation to me. And I think, like, remembering why you started this, whether it's to quit your 9 to 5, or whether it's to just get whatever you can off your mind, or be able to express how you are and how you feel, whether you look at it as an art form or whether you look at it as a way of getting out of your situation financially. Like, I feel like that's really beneficial when you're trying to do something and make it into something more. So that would probably be my biggest and best tip that I would even give to my past self, future self, and present self. So if you made it to this point of the video, you know, I want to say thank you so much, because I really do appreciate whoever does watch my videos. I really am trying to build up and give you better content, no doubt. And I really hope that if you're inspired or want to get into tufting, you'll definitely subscribe to my channel, because hopefully by then I'll have like one-on-one videos, or maybe more in detailed videos on what I do and what I have going on. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed your Sunday upload. Definitely give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends or even your rug tufting buddies. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video. Have a good one.